This video will help you learn how to be a scorer at a Scholar Bowl tournament. Before the match begins, fill out each of the pieces of information circled in this sample score sheet. This includes circling whether the match is JV or varsity, writing the room number, and writing in each school's name, including A or B if there is more than one team competing at the same level from that school. Include your name as the scorer. Finally, write down the first name of each player from both schools. Include last names if needed. During the match, each correct answer earns 10 points for the team who answered correctly. If a team member answers a toss-up question correctly, place a tally next to the player who answered. Be sure to put the tally in the correct period. Then slash the next number in the running score at the top. The running score should always be updated after each correctly answered question. Only toss-up questions earn tallies for individual players. Never give tallies for bonus questions, as these answers were team answers. On the score sheet, you can see that John from School A answered 2 toss-ups in the first round, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. We will not have a fourth period for our tournament. Note that at the end of each period, the total points from toss-ups is calculated at the bottom of each column. Bonus questions can occur during the second period, and those points are kept at the bottom of the page. This sample page has some extra markings which you don't need to worry about. Also, the fourth period can be ignored completely, as we will only play 3 periods. The most important marks in the bonus sections are those on the letters A and B. Those marks show which team, if any, answered each part of the bonus. Notice that for bonus 16, School A correctly answered Part A, and School B, on the right, correctly answered Part B. Also notice that questions 18 and 22 were not scored because the toss-ups for those were not answered correctly by either team. Thus, those lines were skipped. Each time a team correctly answers a bonus question, place the mark in the appropriate spot, then slash the running score at the top. When the second period is over, count the total bonus points and record that amount in the space provided at the bottom of the bonus columns. Remember, bonus questions are not tallied next to any player's name, and bonus questions will only be read if the related toss-up is answered correctly. At the end of each period, you will need to do a score check. Before you announce the score, double check that your running score matches the total number of tallies and bonus marks on the page for each team. For example, at the end of the second period, School A had a total of 10 tallies, or 100 points, from toss-ups, and 40 points from bonus, for a total of 140 points. Scores at the end of each period are recorded in the Score at Quarters section for each team. Also note that the half-shaded boxes in the running score represent the scores at the end of each period. You do not need to worry about those markings. In the event of an overtime, the only marks that should be made are tallies in the OT boxes at the far right of each player's row. Since not all teams go into overtime, overtime points are not included in the player's total toss-ups, nor are they included in the overall team score. If a round goes into overtime, the score should be reported as a tie, for example, 180 to 180, but the winning school score should be circled at the top after the overtime is completed. After the match, determine the total score for each team, remembering that each toss-up is worth 10 points and each bonus is worth 10 points, and record that score in the final score space next to each team name. The score at the end of the third period should match the final score and the end of the running score. In the sample score sheet, 4 rounds were played, but the overall idea is still the same. Also, to help in the scoring room, Please record the number of toss-ups each person answered in the total column at the right of each player's name. Remember not to include any overtime points in an individual player's total. Finally, have a coach or captain from each team sign at the bottom of the page. If the score is being disputed, please contact a coach. Deliver the score sheet to the scoring room when completed, and happy scoring.